Hello and welcome to Galaxy TV's Prime Time News. My name is Iribami Salako. We begin with headlines. National Assembly expresses serious concern over discrepancies in size of recurrent expenditure for ministries, departments and agencies in 2024 budget that is ongoing. Plus, on the news, Lagos Special Offences Court dismisses application of Godwin Emefiele challenging jurisdiction of the court. From the international scene, California firefighters battle wind-whipped wildfires that have torn across Los Angeles areas, destroying homes and clogging roadways as tens of thousands flee. Details of these and more coming your way soon. Do stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now details of the news. The National Assembly has expressed serious concern over the huge discrepancies in the size of the recurrent expenditure relative to capital expenditure and the low level of fund releases for capital projects for ministries, departments and agencies (MDAs) in the 2024 budget that is ongoing. In a joint sitting of the Chairman of Senate and House Committees on Appropriations and the Presidential Economic Team on considerations of 2025 Appropriation Bill, Senator Solomon Adiola and Honorable Abubakar Bichi, Chairman of Senate and House Committees respectively, agreed that the Economic Team should take urgent steps to release more funds for capital projects, as this is a major way for the people to feel the impact of government. Correspondent Kolojo reports that the position of the National Assembly followed the report of the Economic Team led by Wale Edun, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, showing that overall, so far, 2024 budget performance was 43%, with the current expenditure achieving 100%, while capital budget only managed 25% performance. Senator Adiola said it will not be cheering news for MDAs to come for their 2025 budget defense with record of non-performance of their core mandate as contained in capital budget, stressing that within the period of 2024 budget still running, efforts should be made by Finance Ministry to release funds for capital project. Speaking in the same vein, Honorable Bichi called for more releases for capital projects of MDAs for such projects as schools, roads, dams, hospital and other social infrastructure, instead of such items as debt repayment, which he argued can be restructured in the interim. The Minister of Finance confirmed that they have outstanding capital releases awaiting funding, regretting, however, that the country cannot go back on the old ways of spending money that is not there to avoid backlash as happened in France and Germany of recent. Shedding light on the issue, the Minister of Budget and Planning, Alhaji Abubakar Bagudu, said a huge recurrent expenditure in the budget is a function of the country's level of development and some of the societal challenges being faced at this moment. Still with the Joint Assembly, the National Assembly has lauded the federal government for allocating 231.73 billion naira for eradication of malaria and immunization in the 2025 proposed budget. Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on HIV, AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria Control, Honorable Amobi Godwin Oga, gave the commendation while speaking during a visit by the team from Nigeria and Malaria Council. The federal lawmaker declared that the feat remains an indication of the sincere commitment of Tinubu's led administration in fighting the scourge of malaria, adding that for the first time in the history of Nigeria, citizens will be witnessing a very big shift from over-dependent on foreign partners and donors. He added that the previous initiative has not been of any tangible help in reducing the scourge of malaria in Nigeria, knowing fully well that in Nigeria, malaria is already an epidemic.
It shows this government is sincere. In the history of Nigeria, we are witnessing a very, very big shift, because over the time we have over-depended on foreign partners and donors, which has not been helping us. to reduce the issue of malaria in Nigeria, knowing fully well that malaria is already an epidemic, particularly in Nigeria and Africa at large.
The lawmaker, who is a member of the Nigerian End Malaria Council, lauded the contributions in support of the council led by its executive Okwe Abegunde and the team. Said out of the 231.73 billion naira allocation, a sum of 188.4 billion naira is dedicated to Global Alliance for Vaccine and Immunization, noting that this would ensure a major turnaround in fighting the scourge of malaria in the country.
This is the first time where Nigerian government is allocating this kind of money. All this other money you're talking about are loans. They are loans. They are not our money. They are loans that government will collect that our born children we are going to pay. And most times, these are loans that run through the NGOs that we can't even control. You can't even control them. It's like when you hear that Global Fund gave Nigeria $900 and something million. What can we oversight? They gave us money as aid. They still appoint people that will make use of it. They still appoint auditors. We are just like spectators.
Now to other stories, the Northern Elders Forum, NEF, has restated its commitment and dedication to the ideal of nation building for rapid growth and development in Nigeria. New spokesperson of the forum, Professor Abubakar Kajidere, gave the assurance while accepting his new role in the forum. In a statement issued by the chairman of NEF's management board, Alamin Degash, on Wednesday at the end of its meeting, the forum said it remains a non-partisan organization fostering unity and national development across the country. The Northern Elders Forum reiterated its role as a non-partisan organization focused on advocating for Northern Nigeria while promoting unity and development in collaboration with other regions of the country. In his acceptance speech, Professor Jidere expressed gratitude for the appointment and reaffirmed his commitment to the goals of the Northern Elders Forum. Now to judicial matters. A Lagos Special Offences Court on Wednesday dismissed the application of the former governor of Central Bank, Godwin Emefiele, challenging the jurisdiction of the court. EFCC had arraigned Emefiele on 26 counts charge, wherein he was alleged of misusing his office, resulting in a loss of $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion naira. Justice Ramanu Shudi, in his ruling, held that the court has jurisdiction to try Emefiele on the charge, citing relevant statutory and constitutional provisions. Oshodi dismissed the application and held that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) had established a territorial jurisdictions on count 8 to 26 with various facts and the proof of evidence attached with the case file before the court. The court, however, struck out counts 1 to 4 of the charge, which bordered on abuse of office. He said allocation of foreign exchange without bid, which was the subject of count 1 to 4, was not punishable under the law. The ruling stated that the objection challenging the court's territorial jurisdiction over count 8 to 26 fails and thereby dismissed. The judge thereafter said the case should proceed to trial and adjourned until February 24 for continuation of trial. The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, who is currently in detention, has rejected the federal government's request to resume his trial. This stance was reviewed by Kanu's lead counsel, Aloy Jimako, in a post shared on social media platform X. Kanu's legal team maintains that the trial judge, Justice Binta Nyako, should recuse herself from the case, citing an earlier order from September 24, 2024, which they argued remains valid. According to Ejimaka, the decision for Justice Nyako to step aside was never overturned by any court and is still binding. He maintained that Justice Nyako's recusal order entered on September 24, 2024 remains in effect and has not been nullified by any competent court. The lawyer further accused the prosecution of attempting to mislead the court, asserting that Kanu has no case before Justice Nyako anymore. According to Ejimako, as of September 24, 2024, the defendant no longer has any case to answer before Justice Binta Nyako. Nnamdi Kanu, facing 7 charges of alleged treasonable felony and terrorism, has pleaded not guilty to the accusations. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Coming up next. Defense headquarters confirms killings of 34 terrorists and 6 personnel in an attack on military base in Sabongeri village, Borno State. Details of that and more coming after the break. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with thoughts on our X handle as Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with thoughts on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page as Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. Now to security. The defense headquarters has confirmed the killings of 34 terrorists and 6 personnel in an attack on military base in Sabongeri village of Damboa local government area of Borno State. A statement issued by the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, on Wednesday, stated that the attack was an attempt to surprise troops and retaliate the recent killings of the commander in competence by troops. General Buba noted that the battle damage assessment revealed that several terrorists were killed and weapons recovered, including 23 AK-47 with over 200 rounds of 7.62 mm special ammunitions. He added that the names of the killed in action personnel are withheld to allow administrative procedures of notifying the next of kin in due time. The statement further reassured the armed forces' commitment to defeating the terrorists and ending insurgency and terrorism in the country. The Police Service Commission has appointed Assistant Inspector General of Police Jonathan Towero as the new Deputy Inspector General of Police representing the South Geopolitical Zone. The PSS spokesperson Ikechukwu Ani, in a statement on Wednesday, said Towero would succeed DIG Daniel Pedro, who retired as the DIG in charge of Information and Communications Technology. Born on December 6, 1965 in Owodo, Popo, Olumo, Gailey, South Africa government area of Delta State, DIG Towero brings a wealth of experience from his extensive career in Nigeria Police Force. And he said the PSA chairman, retired DIG Ashimo Arungo, urged Towero to leverage his vast policing experience to enhance the efficiency of the police management team. As a member of the police management team, you must be prepared to contribute significantly to advancing the ideals of the Nigerian police force, he said. Arungo stated while reiterating the Commission's commitment to supporting the police in combating crimes and ensuring national security. The Kwara State Commissioner of Police, CP Victor Laya, formerly decorated 96 senior police officers recently promoted within the command. A statement issued by the Police Public Relations Officer, SP Ejire Adeyemi Toun, confirmed the ceremony which took place at the command's headquarters in Ilorin. The statement noted that promotions were in recognition of the officers' hard work, dedication, and commitment to duty, emphasizing the increased responsibility in the newly promoted officers. Elias stressed that their promotions came with heightened expectations. To whom much is given, much is expected, he said. He urged the officers to uphold professionalism in combating crime and enhancing community relations in line with international best practices. Olaya also expressed gratitude to the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Adeolu Egbetokun, and the Chairman of the Police Service Commission, Ashim Musiliu Agongo, for prioritizing the welfare of police officers. Still on security, the Federal Capital Territory Police Command has arrested Idris Usman and his motorboy Alizan Ibrahim for alleged child trafficking. Addressing the media in Abuja on Wednesday, FCT Commissioner of Police Olatunji Diso said a patrol team led by DSP Sadiq Umar intercepted a white Peugeot J5 bus on January 6, 2025 along the Abuja-Kano route. The vehicle, driven by Idris Usman, carried 59 boys aged between 4 and 12. Investigations revealed Idris Usman, a Nasarawa State resident, transported the children from Kano under the pretext of providing training without proper documentation or parental consent. The suspects, the vehicles, and the children are in custody as the investigation continues. The CP said the police command is working with the Social Development Secretariat (SDS) to reunite the children with their families and prosecute those involved.
Bus was found to be transporting 59 male children aged between 4 to 12 years old. Preliminary investigations revealed that the children, who came from different families, were being transported by one Idris Usman, a male resident of Nasarawa State. He traveled to Kano State to convey the children en route Nasarawa State under the pretext, or according to him, for training them.
While the police promised to work closely with Social Development Secretariat to reunite the children with their families, Northern Senator Kawu Sumaila said it would ensure that the children are promptly returned to their parents. In his affairs, Idris Usman claimed he had been an Islamic studies teacher for over 40 years and transported the children with their parents' consent solely to teach them.
I am not happy. That is the reason why I rushed to the scene, and we have agreed now that we are taking them back to home, and I will speak with their parents and the leaders of their community. Definitely there must be a change, but I keep repeating it. It is the responsibility of the parent, the responsibility of the society, and of course government. We must put our head together and stop this kind of system.
The Nigeria Police Force has declared progress in its investigation on the recent explosion at Sangagya Sani Uthman Islamia School in Kuchibiu Village, Buari Area Council, Abuja. Speaking at a press briefing in Abuja, Force spokesman ACP Muyiwa Adejobi stated that the police have discovered some clues to what actually happened, but posited that it is not yet time to say much as investigations are still ongoing. He described the incident as isolated and unusual, assuring the public of the police's commitment to uncovering the cause. Adejobi urged residents, particularly those in suburban areas, to remain vigilant and collaborate with local security operators, emphasizing the need for enhanced security across all communities. The explosion, which occurred on Monday around 11 a.m., claimed 2 lives and injured 2 others. 3 men who had visited the school proprietor earlier were accused of bringing the improvised explosive device IED. The Federal Capital Territory Police Command has since confirmed the arrest of the school proprietor Adamu Ashimu as investigations continue.
For us to say much about the incidents because we don't want to be judgmental about it. Let's conclude our investigation, but I can assure you it's a case of national and international interest that the police will address properly. So we will continue to update Nigerians about the incident, and we want to seize the opportunity to talk to Nigerians, particularly residents of the Federal Capital Territory, to be more vigilant. This is an indication that we need to work together to collaborate to make sure we don't give any gap for any ugly incidents to be recorded in the Federal Capital Territory. We need to be more vigilant.
The Anambra State Police Command has rescued 4 children allegedly stolen from Bauchi State and sold in Anambra. Commissioner of Police C.P. Nagel Bono made this known while briefing journalists at the command's headquarters in Amambia. 4 suspects, which include an illegal foster mother, have also been arrested and confessed to the crime, according to the police. Addressing journalists, the Anambra State Police Commissioner C.P. Nagel Bono describes the incident as highly worrisome.
Things we want to highlight very strongly is a pattern of child theft, child stealing, and the trafficking in children. It's actually very worrisome. But by the painstaking investigations of our state criminal department, we were able to recover 4 children that were stolen from Bauchi State, and all of them were recovered, and the suspects will be prosecuted.
Still on security, the newly transferred Commissioner of Police to Ondo State, Wilfred Afolabi, has vowed to take steps to address the issue of proliferation of arms, which is contributing to the rise in cases of court clashes and other crimes in the state. The CP who visited Owo said that normalcy has been restored in the town. CP Afolabi said 19 suspects have been arrested in connection to the act, adding that the command is intensifying efforts to arrest others still at large.
So far so good. Normalcy have returned to the place. We've gone around. We extended our visit to all the nooks and crannies of the town. And even you too, you are a witness. You saw it all. The calmness has been restored. So far we have 19 suspects in our custody. I'm here to come to create a safe and conducive environment for the lovers of peace. But for those who hate peace, they're not going to find it easy with us. We're going to be hard on them.
The Commissioner thereafter met with journalists at the command's headquarters, where he assured that persons with unauthorized firearms will be disposed of to make the state safer and more conducive to live. According to the Commissioner, the command will deploy the use of technology to address security challenges confronting the state.
Training and retraining, there's no negotiation about it. While I'm on the 6th, even me, I'll be directly involved in the training of our personnel. Because a personnel that is not trained is a threat to the people he's being asked to police and to himself. There is proliferation of firearms. Firearms in the hands of people who are not supposed to be in possession of them. And that's the reason why we're experiencing clashes here and there.
The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) has dragged Malam Nasir El-Rufai's former Chief of Staff Alhaji Muhammad Bashir Saidu to the Federal High Court in Kaduna for alleged money laundering. Alhaji Bashir Saidu, who was also a one-time Commissioner of Finance in Kaduna State during El-Rufai's administration, was charged along with one Ibrahim Mukhtar, a public officer in employment of the Ministry of Finance. According to the charge, the defendants are being accused of a 2-count charge of money laundering, contrary to earlier claims that Alhaji Muhammad Bashir Saidu had been exonerated of all charges after 10 months of investigation. The court document stated that sometimes in March 2022 or thereabout, Alhaji Mohammed Bashir Saidu, who at that time was Commissioner of Finance, did accept cash payment of the sum of 155 million naira from one Ibrahim Mukhtar, exceeding the amount authorized by law, which sum one could receive in cash through proxy to it. Muhazu Abdul, your special assistant, and you thereby committed an offence contrary to Section 2, subsection A, and punishable under the Section 19, subsection D of the Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. It read. The Ogun State Technical Working Group pushing for gender equality and an end to gender-based violence has called on the state government to establish a trust fund and special court to address the rising menace of gender-based violence in the state. Speaking with newsmen in Abeokuta, Dr. Mojisola Akinsoya, the Executive Director, Women for Peace and Gender Equality Initiative, the lead organization for the Technical Working Group, noted that there has been an increase in incest, rape and other GBV cases across the state in the last 1 year. She upped on the need to sustain the fight on GBV response, invest in funds to tame the scourge, and establish a special court to speedily try and adjudicate sexual abuses in ways that perpetrators will not get away with the crime.
4% cannot do much in terms of response and the challenges ahead. So we beg the governor, we ask and we demand for a sustained political will so that women and girls can be free from the surge of gender-based violence. We also look at what are the prevailing issues in Ogun State, which include that we still need at least a specialized court to make sure that women can report cases and cases can be prosecuted on time.
Dr. Akinsoya further said the organization have been working on women's empowerment in GBV prevention and response in Ogun State in the last 12 months. She, however, demanded for 0.5% of the internally generated revenue to be set aside as trust fund in order to cater for the GBV cases.
We also advocated for at least to have 0.5% of the total tax that we are getting in Ogun State to have a special social trust fund, GBV trust fund for Ogun State. Since the budget has been passed, we can also have a trust fund exactly the way we have the security trust fund in the state. That will give us a specialized fund to support all the challenges that we're having.
Not to other stories, a group under the aegis of Lake Hill Development Foundation, in collaboration with Care About Women Foundation, have called on the federal government to phase out fossil fuel and make paramount to just and equitable transition to renewable energy. The group, in a press conference with journalists as part of efforts to commemorate the Ogoni Day, called on federal government to fast-track the establishment of the proposed Federal University of Environment to drive development in Ogoni land. Reading the communique on behalf of the group, the Executive Director of Lake Development Foundation, Friday Mbani, emphasizes that there's need to strengthen institutions to hold all multinational companies accountable and ensure justice for affected communities.
We are asking our government, federal government of Nigeria, led by our President Tinubu, to stop the processes of divestment henceforth until we have a decent accountability and transparent, inclusive, especially for the community to be part of the process.
Mbani further said the Ogoni struggle represents the resilience and determination of people seeking justice, equity and environmental sustainability.
Strongly warned that IPRED should stop any plan of carbon credit scheme and focus on the core mandate of environmental remediation and restoration as stated in the report. protection of the Ogoni environment and ecology.
The group categorically stated that Ogoni will not place priority on dialogue and negotiations for possible oil resumption in Ogoni, but insists that key issues including environmental restoration, political inclusion and justice to the affected local communities must be addressed first.
Key issues including environmental restoration
product from Ogoni land to sustain its economy.
You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. While we come back, the news continues. Do stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now moving on with the stories. Leadership of scrap dealers under the auspices of Nasruddin has called the Nigerian government to be decisive and go after any unregistered scrap dealers in the country in order to curb acts of vandalism. Speaking with newsmen on the recent activities of vandals in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territories, the acting president of Nasruddin said the board of trustees of the association is keen at separating the verdicts among the original scrap dealers in the country and will give all necessary support to government at ridding the country of these criminals.
Misgrants that used to come and spoil our name, scrap dealers, and we are calling on all regulated agencies who are regulating our activities that we should synergize, we should collaborate and see how we can put an end to all these activities. This is a genuine business. This is a loyal business. This is a business that started very long time ago.
Who is indulging in doing this our business should go to the nearest council chairman's administrative office in the state. We have a lot of our addresses in the states. We have branch chairmen. They should go there and tell them that they want to register. Registration will come and meet us at the. We are going to have a national portal where all our.
Adding that the governor had promised substantial implementation of the budget. 5 people have been confirmed dead, while 10 others are in critical conditions following 2 separate road accidents on the Benin-Asaba highway. The incident, which occurred on Tuesday night, took place between the Iselu-Uku and Onitsha-Ubo axis. Eyewitnesses said one of the accidents involved a Sienna minivan, which was reportedly speeding when it veered off the road and somersaulted multiple times. 4 of the occupants, including a family of 4, were believed to have died in the crash. The second accident also involved a vehicle, resulting in 1 fatality, while several others sustained injuries. Ogiden noted that fatigue and excessive speed were key factors contributing to the crashes. He also commended the quick response of his team, stating that timely intervention helped save many lives. The National Orientation Agency has launched a campaign against human metapneumovirus in Akwa Ibom State. HMPV is a respiratory virus causing flu-like symptoms, particularly affecting children, the elderly, and those with weakened immune system. The state director of the agency, in the statement in Uyo on Wednesday, listed the symptoms to include cough, fever, nasal congestion, sore throat, shortness of breath, and wheezing in severe cases. In children, potential for bronchiolitis or pneumonia. He identified those at risk as children under 5 years old, elderly individuals, especially those with underlying health conditions, as well as immunocompromised patients. He said that they wish to use the medium in line with the mandate to advise citizens to use nose masks, especially in crowded air places, airport premises, practicing good hand hygiene, avoid close contact with sick persons, ensuring vaccination for other preventable respiratory diseases like influenza and COVID-19. However, there is no known cure for HMPV. He said to observe the Nigeria Center for Disease Control Protocol as directed recently. Now we move to the international desk for more news.
Hello and welcome to Foreign News. California firefighters have battled wind-whipped wildfires that have torn across the Los Angeles area, destroying homes and clogging roadways as tens of thousands flee, straining resources as officials prepared for the situation to worsen. The blaze that broke out on Tuesday evening in the foothills northeast of Los Angeles spread so rapidly that staff at the Senior Living Center had to push dozens of residents in wheelchairs and hospital beds down the street to a car park. The residents waited in their bedclothes as embers fell around them until ambulances, buses and even construction vans arrived to take them to safety. A blaze that started hours earlier ripped through the city's Pacific Palisades neighborhood, a hillside area along the coast dotted with celebrity residences and memorialized by the Beach Boys in their 90 cities hit Surfing USA. In the frantic haste to get to safety, roadways became impassable as scores of people abandoned their vehicles and fled on foot, some toting suitcases. Traffic jams prevented emergency vehicles from getting through. A bulldozer was then brought in to push abandoned cars to the side and create a path. Video along the Pacific Coast Highway showed widespread destruction of homes and businesses along the famed roadway. A third wildfire started at about 10:30 p.m. and it quickly prompted evacuation in Selma, the northernmost neighborhood in Los Angeles. The causes of all three fires were under investigation. Flames were being pushed by winds, stopping 60 mph in some places. At least 19 Palestinians, including 8 children, were killed in Israeli airstrikes in southern Gaza overnight. A mother and her 4 children were reportedly killed when a tent camp for displaced people in Al-Mawasi was hit, while another, a couple and their children, died in the nearby city of Khan Younis. The Israeli military said it conducted several strikes targeting Hamas fighters who took part in the 7 October 2023 attack on Israel, which triggered the war in Gaza. Deadly strikes were also reported in central and northern Gaza, with the Hamas-run health ministry saying a total of 51 people had been killed across the territory in the past 24 hours. In the north, the bodies of at least 6 people, including a baby, were recovered from 2 houses in Gaza City which were hit, according to the Hamas-run Civil Defense Emergency. Meanwhile, 3 people were killed in a strike in the central town of Deir al-Bala, while another infant was killed in a nearby Orban Baruj refugee camp. There was no immediate comment from the Israeli military on those strikes. Gaza's health ministry also issued an urgent appeal for fuel to operate the generators of hospitals in the south. It warned that the generators would stop functioning within hours, putting the lives of hundreds of patients at risk. It came as indirect talks on a ceasefire and hostage release deal continued in Qatar, where U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's Middle East envoy said a lot of progress had been made. The European Union's foreign policy chief has accused Russia of weaponizing gas against Moldova. Russia is using gas as a weapon in waging a hybrid war against the small Southeast European country, Kaja said late on Tuesday, pledging the bloc's support. Moldova's breakaway region of Transnistria, which enjoys strong links with Moscow, has been without gas since the beginning of the year amid a financial spat between Chisinau and Russia's state-owned gas giant. For decades, Transnistria, a mainly Russian-speaking breakaway region along the Ukrainian border, had been receiving Russian gas via Ukraine, but that route was cut off on New Year's Day after Kyiv war before the pair. The Moldovan government has blamed the crisis on Gazprom, which it says has refused to supply contracted gas to Transnistria via an alternative and tested Trans-Balkan route. Gazprom has blamed unpaid Moldovan debt that Moscow says totals $709 million as a reason for the disruption, but Moldova disputes the debt and says its position is backed up by an international audit. In her post, Kala said that she affirmed the EU's unwavering solidarity in Moldova in a call with Moldovan Prime Minister Dorin Riken. The disruption is now affecting more than 51,000 households. An estimated 1,500 apartment buildings have no heating, and the functioning of the economy is also under pressure. Still on foreign news, U.S. has accused the Sudanese paramilitary Rapid Support Forces of committing genocide and imposed sanctions on its leader. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, also known as Hemedti, was being punished for his role in systematic atrocities against the Sudanese people during the 20-month conflict. They said the RSF funds as well as brutal sexual violence against women on ethnic grounds. The militias have also targeted fleeing civilians and murdered innocent people escaping the conflict. He added that this may complicate the Sudanese crisis and hinder negotiations to address the root causes of the conflict. The RSF has been fighting the Sudanese military since April 2023, and there's been a growing outcry about its conduct during the war. South Korea's President Yoon Suk Yeol faces a new and potentially more robust attempt to arrest him for insurrection after a top investigator vowed to do whatever it takes to break a security blockade and take in the impeached leader. Protesters supporting and opposing the embattled Yeon braved freezing temperatures to stage rallies on the street around the presidential compound on Wednesday after a court reissued a warrant on Tuesday to arrest him. The Presidential Security Service has been fortifying the compound this week with barbed wire and barricades using buses to block access to the residence, a hillside villa in an upscale district known as Korea's Beverly Hills. Yeon is under criminal investigation for insurrection over his failed attempt to impose martial law on December 3rd, a decision that stunned South Korea and prompted the first arrest warrant for a sitting president. He also faces an impeachment trial in the Constitutional Court. On Wednesday, one of Yeon's lawyers said the president could not accept the execution of the arrest warrant because it was issued by a court in the wrong jurisdiction and the CIO had no authority to investigate the incumbent leader. Yoon Kap-kyon, the lawyer, also denied suggestions by some members of parliament that Yeon had fled the official residence, saying he had met the president there on Tuesday. He said there were malicious rumors intended to slander Yeon. And finally, on foreign news, an Italian journalist detained in Iran last month has been freed and is on a flight back to Rome. The Italian government says Cecilia Sala, 29, was arrested on 19 December, 3 days after an Iranian engineer was detained by Italian authorities in Milan on suspicion of supplying drone technology that led to the death of U.S. soldiers. Reports said she had been held in solitary confinement in Tehran's notorious Evin prison. It is unclear what led to Sala's release. However, the news was broken by Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's official, who cited intense work through diplomatic and intelligence channels. In the Italian statement, Meloni thanked all those who contributed to making Cecilia's return possible. She had personally told Sala's parent of her release. Sala's plane had already left Tehran and was due to arrive in Rome at 15:30 on Wednesday, according to ANSA. Cecilia Sala's detention in prison in Tehran outraged Italians and has dominated headlines since her employer, podcast company Cora Media, broke the news of her arrest on 27 December. Meloni is understood to have taken personal charge of her case and met U.S. President-elect Donald Trump at the weekend when the journalist's detention is thought to have been discussed. Outgoing President Joe Biden is due to visit Rome later this week. Iran said initially it had detained Salah for violation of the Islamic Republic laws. However, U.S. State Department officials said it could be linked to the arrest of Iranian national Mohammed Abedini at Malpensa Airport in Milan on 16 December. He He was arrested on a U.S. warrant, and one official told Italian media that Salah was being used as political leverage. And that's all we have on the foreign news.
Coming your way next, entertainment news.
Welcome to Entertainment News on Galaxy TV. My name is Gratitude Imokwede. Here are the stories for today.
Nollywood actress Regina Daniels continues to soar high in her career as she is currently dining with the president of Ghana.
Senator Ned Nwoko.
The internet with an adorable video of him and legendary singer Tubaba's children. In an Instagram post, the filmmaker shared the video of him spending quality time with the singer's family, who are his neighbors.
Look at you! Come here! Good to see you. You're saying in that video, like a he, like a can, like he, like he.
What's going on there? Don't start your comedy career.
This is your audition. Okay, so tell us, because Nigerians, we need to understand exactly what you were saying. Please, can you just tell us exactly what you were trying to say to us? Put together, okay.
In the clip, Ewa was captured with Annie's daughters, Olivia and Isabella, and also Tubaba's sons with his first baby mama, Sumbo Adeoye. In his caption, he revealed that he was having a neighborhood playtime with the kids.